You've said for the longest time that one person's terrorist is another person's freedom fighter.
Yes.
The Lebanese were not being backed up by Hezbollah, which is directly connected to Iran. Then basically Israel and the West will engulf Lebanon. Like they're next. And the whole concept of the Greater Israel project commences. And so the Lebanese people are not having it with essentially what's been proposed as far as Israel taking over the southern portion of the country. They want to wave the white flag, and the people of the country are saying, no, you'll have to kill us all. Like we're not giving in. So senior Lebanese official slams U.S. broker deal with Israel, warns of divisions. You think? Lebanon's parliament speaker, Nabih Berri, a key ally of Hezbollah, on Monday slammed a U.S. brokered agreement between Lebanon and Israel, warning it could lead to attempts to divide Lebanese and said it would not be implemented. Israeli officials suggested the agreement would move forward in the coming days, but there were no immediate reports of any aspects of the deal being implemented on the ground. Israeli artillery shelled at an area near the border in southern Lebanon on Monday, according to the Lebanese state news agency. And the sound of a drone buzzed over Beirut, Reuters reported. The Reuters Iran, I don't know if that was part of it or not. In comments to Lebanon's Al Akbar newspaper, Berri described Iran-U.S. talks as the only realistic opportunity to secure Israeli withdrawal from Lebanon, and that any attempt to separate Lebanon from the U.S.-Iran track would prolong Israeli occupation. Essentially, the deal that is on the table right now that little Marco is touting, and again, anything Rubio is supporting, you should reject, is basically, we will stop bombing the shit out of you if you just give up southern Lebanon. And there are people in the Lebanese government who are like, oh, yes, master, just take our land.
Yes, there are always going to be people that are willing to sell out their own in honor of the, empire. We will always see those people. But what's interesting, and you look at this, so just always pay attention to who's actually negotiating, right? So these are negotiations between the U.S. and the government of Lebanon. That's not who's fighting. Neither of those two parties are fighting. The people that are fighting are Israel and Hezbollah. Now, Israel can have whatever deal they want with the government of Lebanon, but they're not fighting with them. They're fighting with Hezbollah, and Hezbollah has not been invited to the conversation. Interesting. So it's like two people that are not a party to the conflict are creating an agreement about a conflict that doesn't involve them. That's what this is.
Israel has occupied a swath of southern Lebanon in a war with Hezbollah that began on March 2nd, when the group opened fire at Israel after Iran came under U.S.-Israeli attack. Again, take all of this with a grain of salt. The Lebanon war has been a central part of diplomacy towards ending the wider U.S.-Iran conflict.
It's critical. It's not one of those things where J.D. Vance can just sort of shrug it off and pretend that, oh, we didn't mean for that to be part of the agreement. The situation in Lebanon is the gist right now of that. That's the holdup. So
the Lebanon war has been a central part of diplomacy, again, towards where Tehran has insisted on a Lebanon ceasefire as part of its interim deal with Washington, while the U.S. has sponsored separate talks between the Lebanese and Israeli governments, which Beirut has attended despite Hezbollah's objections.
Right.
Israel has praised the agreement signed by the Lebanese and Israeli ambassadors to Washington on Friday, with Prime Minister Netanyahu saying it allows Israel forces to continue to occupy southern Lebanon if Hezbollah does not disarm.
But Hezbollah is not part of this discussion. You can't make this shit up. You really can't make this shit up. I
Hezbollah, which has demanded Beirut quit its face-to-face talks with the Israeli government, has rejected the deal as a surrender to Israel.
yeah.
Senior Hezbollah official Mahmoud Kamadi said on Monday that the accord was effectively dead already. He said there was no reason to mobilize people in the streets or take any action, as there was no way it could be implemented, he told Lebanese Al Jadid TV.
I don't know how to be more clear. So when we watch our news here and they're talking about these negotiations and talks that are existing regarding Lebanon, please know that those talks are not concerning the people that are actually having the disagreement. Okay, that's they're not even involved in the conversation. And what this is going to do, and this is going to be one of those little perks that's going to come from this. Okay, what this is going to do is it's going to push the Lebanese people towards supporting Hezbollah more.
Yep.
So, because not all of the people in Lebanon support Hezbollah. Hezbollah, my understanding, is really predominant in the southern part. It was always been there as a response to Ziohel aggression. And so a lot of people in Lebanon are not necessarily Hezbollah supporters, but the people that recognize that Hezbollah is the only thing protecting them from Ziohel, they do like that because their own government is clearly willing to sell them out. So they prefer having somebody fighting for them. And what this is all going to do is just increase the Lebanese people's support of Hezbollah because they're watching their government be willing to sell out their own people. And Hezbollah is the only people fighting for them. So I think this is going to cause what's happening in Albania to be what's happening in Lebanon. That's what this is going to create, that even though Lebanese people don't necessarily support Hezbollah, just like the Iranian people don't necessarily support their government, but they do against us and they do against Ziohel. So keep doing this shit.
This is what I posted a little while ago. The difference of opinion between the people and the government that represents them is a wide chasm the world over, not just here. In Lebanon, as the southern portion of the country is experiencing a similar fate to that of Gaza and the West Bank. To stop the bloodshed, the Lebanese government is preparing to annex the territory to Israel at the behest of the U.S. State Department. As a result, the Lebanese people have responded in a similar capacity to the Albanians with a firm warning to their government. This is our land, and we will overthrow you if you do not reject Israel, full stop. Scroll
You
to the
know,
bottom.
it's another example of where Western empire really doesn't grasp the connection that people have to land. This is the same thing. The Lebanese people, the Palestinian people, the whole Levant area people, we can't really understand that because most of us have never had that tie to the land. That commitment to their identity is tied to the land, and they're not going to just be okay with their government giving away to the Ziohel that's been attacking them for years and years and years. Just saying, all right, like you could just give them that. Isn't that what they did with Hitler? We said, okay, well, let him take this, but just this. Really? They think the government of Lebanon thinks that Ziohel is going to be content with anything less than that ridiculous Greater Israel design that they have, which, by the way, includes all of Lebanon.
I also want to point out to John Watts saying it's cruel to allow 50 to 100 illegals into the country. I want people to remember something, because this is a huge issue on the political right. If you favor capitalism, and you think that there should be no guardrails, that people do whatever they want, just remember, the people who support bringing in people into this country who are not citizens and never will be, are the people who love capitalism more than anybody else. Because
I'm not understanding that last comment. What does he mean about that?
Referring to this idea of, why we have, why we have these issues with people with the ICE facilities and the violence. And I would just say, just remember,
it's cruel to allow 50 to 100. First of all, okay, John, humans aren't illegal. That's silly. Okay. So, and they're letting them in. I would debate. They don't
Jen,
seem to be really rolling out a red carpet.
again, you don't believe in borders, and that's fine. But
It doesn't matter even if I believed in strict borders. I believe in human rights,
correct.
and I
Well,
believe that we
absolutely.
don't get to treat people. And again, I've said this. I will debate. I don't give a shit what your stance is on immigration. It doesn't matter. None of it makes it okay to treat people the way that we treat
Oh, of
people.
course.
Period.
Absolutely.
Period. So I don't care. And to refer to somebody as illegal only serves to dehumanize people that are already vulnerable, to somehow make it justifiable to treat them like shit. It's called othering. And it's stupid.
Yeah, it
Okay.
doesn't serve,
Because those illegals and us, we're all on the same team against them.
remember, if you are the truth of the matter is, as much as some people don't want to hear this, if you are America first, like if that's what you believe, and I do, and I tend to lean into that as well myself personally, you cannot embrace capitalism as it is constructed. You just can't, because there is no. If you haven't heard the speech in the movie Network by Ned Beatty, he basically lays it out how capitalism really works. There are no nations. There's just corporations, and there is just profit to be made, and you are just a pawn in the grand scheme of things. And unfortunately, it gets back to that old meme, the old Rupert Murdoch meme of the black worker and the white worker, and the white worker has one cookie, the black worker has none, and Rupert Murdoch has all the cookies. And he looks at the white guy and he says, "Be careful, that black guy's going to take your cookie." And that's basically capitalism. As much as people don't recognize that that's what it is, I've said it for a long time. I will continue to say it. And I'm in commercial real estate. They would have you as slaves if they could get away with it. There is different forms of slavery that still exist, and we employ it still. So just remember, if you can't spot the sucker when you walk into the room, chances are you're the sucker. Chaos in Beirut right now, as you could see, they are not taking this lying down. They are not going to take this lying down. They're going to continue to fight, and it's going to continue to spiral against the interests of capital and, of course, the Zionist state. Scroll a little down a little bit more, Colin, please.
I don't know about you, but I've met Lebanese people. I wouldn't fuck with the Lebanese people.
Crowds have completely taken over the streets, burning tires and blocking roads in fury over the Lebanese authorities signing an agreement with Israel. They say it legalizes Israel's occupation of southern Lebanon and gives Netanyahu immunity for war crimes. Now, you see, that's the part of the story. And if you could go back to the article, please, Colin, that's the part of the story that I find so perplexing. Why would you sign an agreement that includes immunity for Netanyahu?
Very interesting. Very interesting. Well, and again, we're back to the fact that the parties that are signing said agreement are not the parties to the conflict. So I don't know. And for him to be able to have some semblance of what immunity in Lebanon, I don't see what the hell different. I don't understand that. Like, I don't understand like if somebody understands what that does for him that he wouldn't have otherwise, I don't know. I'm not entirely sure.
Jen, if you would, please.
The agreement foresees Lebanon's army taking over territory pending the disarmament of Hezbollah, saying this would enable Israel's military to progressively redeploy out of Lebanon. Right. They're gonna leave as soon as the Lebanon's military takes over. Sure.
This time they will.
Right, this time. So Lebanon's army would gradually assume responsibility in pilot zones. Okay, but again, Lebanon's army is nothing compared to Hezbollah. So now what you're going to see is what Israel's trying to do is they're trying to set up a civil war between Lebanon's military and Hezbollah. That's what they're trying to do.
Oh, yeah.
They figure, let them all just kill themselves. They'll kill each other or whatever. And then we'll just take it all over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. A senior Ziohel official said the pilot zone process under which troops would withdraw would begin immediately. without elaborating. A second Ziohel official said the redeployment from the pilot zones might begin in the coming days. The zones, according to maps published by Ziohel, include the Lebanese villages of Frown, Zatwar, Al Garabia, and Gandaria. Oh, please,
Gonorrhea.
Arabic people forget.
Gonorrhea. Gonorrhea is the last one.
It does not, it does look like it says Gandaria, but two Ziohel officials said separately that these areas had been taken by Ziohel forces recently to use as leverage in negotiations. With whom? Who are you negotiating? A satellite image of Frown taken on June 24 showed destruction to large parts of the village. Berry, head of the Amal movement, described the agreement as diktats. Al-Akbar quoted Berry as saying the most dangerous aspect of the agreement included the potential for it to incite internal division and draw the Lebanese into a confrontation amongst themselves. Who would have thought?
Of course. Let them do that and then take the pieces. Because if there's one thing we know about the Zio scum is that they don't actually want to fight. They act like they do, but in reality, they are the biggest pussies alive.
They want everyone else to fight for them.
Of
and
course.
Then they just want to.
Well, Jen, they're chosen.
They're chosen.
You have to understand. Chosen don't fight. The Goyim fight. That's who fights.
This agreement won't be implemented. Of course it won't. It can't be implemented. It can't be enforced. It doesn't involve the people that are parties to the conflict. So
nope.
It's just silly. All right, scroll. The intensity of hostilities in Lebanon in the south has abated this month as Iran has insisted on its demand for Lebanon ceasefire in talks with the U.S., and as Ziohel has scaled back attacks in Lebanon at Washington's behest. I question that. I don't believe that's true. I don't think they scale back anything. And then maybe they say, okay, well, we'll scale back a few people in Lebanon, but then we'll just take out a few more people in the West Bank or bomb a few more babies breastfeeding in Gaza. And so there's really no scaling back. Yes, the agreement's dead on arrival. It's silly. The U.S.-Iran interim agreement requires both countries and their allies to end military operations on all fronts, including Lebanon. Iran is also seeking Ziohel withdrawal from Lebanon. Isn't that amazing that the country that we say is the leading sponsor of global terror is the country demanding that the country that is committing global terror stop committing global terror? Seriously.
Israel strikes Hezbollah targets. The Lebanese government sought face-to-face talks with Israel earlier in the war, despite objections from Shiite Hezbollah, reflecting divisions over the group's decision to join the conflict. The government has pursued a policy aimed at securing Hezbollah's disarmament since last year, after the group was badly weakened during a previous war with Israel in 2024. Israeli forces seized a self-declared security zone stretching into southern Lebanon during the war, citing the need to shield northern Israel from Hezbollah attacks. The Israeli military said it destroyed a Hezbollah tunnel in the south overnight and struck 3 Hezbollah command centers in southern Lebanon on Sunday in response to violations of a ceasefire by Hezbollah. Okay, so in conclusion,
and Hezbollah has not agreed to a ceasefire.
There is nobody, and I mean nobody, who breaks ceasefires other than Israel.
Us.
Well, yeah, I mean, you said that we're one and the same, and that's true. But
we violate every agreement, pact, treaty, truce, negotiation. We have violated every single thing we have ever agreed to with anybody, ever. So, yeah.
Well said. I am a good goy, I am. Very well stated.